Hi, Alex. Welcome to the Power Talk Show, powered by Business Talks Weekly. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and joining our channel today. I want to understand the transition you had from a CFO to becoming the Stern Gutters leader.
Yeah. Thank you, Navin. It's great to be here. Pleasure, privilege to be here and join you here on the show. Yeah, my background is a little eclectic. I want to sort of highlight that I have been entrepreneur my entire life. I started my career in banking, transitioned over to the buy side, and spent almost 12 years working for several family offices, high net worth individuals who were making principal investments in private companies, some technology, some healthcare, some natural resources. But my job has been identify different opportunities, serve them with capital and support the founding teams through business development and growth and revenue generation of scale. And through this experience of helping CEOs and CFOs, I at some point was invited to actually become a member of executive teams. And this is how sort of my financial background and the operational experiences got combined into several CFO roles. In that particular instance with Celis Life Sciences was supporting the chief executive officer of this small biotech and taking the company public and listed on NASDAQ. So that was a success story. But once that transaction took place, I started receiving follow-up inquiries about joining other organizations as the CFO capacity to help them raise capital, but also execute on some operational milestones. And I subsequently served with a number of companies in the CFO capacity and ultimately was sort of figuring out what to do next as sort of in my career chapter, and ended up doing a lot of research on various opportunities with franchises here in the United States. Was always leaning towards the construction slash home services sector. And even though my conversations with big franchise networks did not necessarily resulted in me signing the franchise agreement, the several business concept truly resonated with me, and that would sort of led to a serious consideration of starting my own business. But from the gutter sort of angle, there is a very practical element. A few years back, I just remember having a issue with a gutter on my home here in northern New Jersey. And I remember reaching out probably to 12 or 15 different contractors to schedule an appointment for them to come out and see what actually can be done with my leaking gutters. And out of that 15, only 3 scheduled appointments. 2 showed up, and of those who showed up, 1 did not even want to look at my gutters. He wanted to sell me the roof, obviously, for the multiples, if not tens of multiples of the price point of repairing my gutter. And the other gentleman who showed up, he actually was very diligent, and he climbed on the roof, he looked at my gutter, and ultimately ended up giving me an estimate, which in retrospect feels very overpriced. But he also wrote this estimate on literally just tore it out of the notepad, wrote it in his pen, handed this over to me, and I've never heard from him again. And it was just a little bit of a light bulb situation. It's like, look, if northern New Jersey with several million residents over here with high net worth component of the population over here, there's probably a fairly consistent opportunity here if we can approach the customer service elements that's going to have this angle of either white shoe law firm or a high-end consulting firm, where the high level of professionalism is going to be one of the signature elements of providing the service. And it would be buttressed by technological infrastructure, so that following up with people is sort of reinforced either through technology sort of based reminders or automatic texting, automatic emails, but also bring the element that is going to be centered around certain kind of values that homeowners would actually just be kind of concentrated to, like, all right, I want to pick the contractor who's going to deliver me the peace of mind, as opposed to you know, um, uh, the cheapest price or some other element that sometimes come into the calculus of the homeowner. And and at the end of the day, sort of the thesis behind stern gutters was let's make this a technology enabled, almost a little bit like a white glove service to the homeowners and bring them that peace of mind. No, we're not going to be the cheapest service provider. And there are many competitors who underprice us daily and we lose business because of the price. But where my head is at is that if we're losing the business because of 10, 20, $50 on the quote, perhaps these are not the customers that we want to go after or we want to service, because to me, it's important to actually start the relationship and build the relationship, which I hope we're going to elaborate a little bit more. Gutters is just a starting point of the conversation, right? We want to provide more comprehensive exterior rainwater management solution for the homeowners, and that's where the relationship element is going to come into foreplay. So, um, the kind of to summarize again my journey, if you will, always an entrepreneur, coming from the finance background and some exposure to obviously consulting work and high level of professionalism. And the idea is to bring this high level of professionalism to the home services here in northern New Jersey. And if we're successful in streamlining this business model, perhaps expand it elsewhere.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Alex. I have a question. I want to understand. The home service space is such a cluttered space with, contractors and subcontractors and even freelancers. And in some cases, the individual homeowner himself thinks about doing the things by himself. How does that come into play? And is price the only factor that they're looking after, or service, quality service is also the factor that comes into play?
Yeah, this is an excellent question. And price, let me be very, very clear. Price is an important factor. We chose from the very early on not to be the sort of the lowest bidder. Very often, the lowest price is sort of kind of tangentially related to the sort of lowest bidder and therefore the lowest quality. And everything about Stern is completely opposite of that. We want to be associated with high quality, the premium materials that we can use, longevity, no service calls, like, very long warranty periods, so that people, when they hire us, they actually pay for and buy peace of mind, as opposed to just getting some stuff done at perhaps the lowest price point. The lowest price point is, in my experience, something that means I'm going to have someone come back and do the work again. I'm going to have issues with the gutters or the service that we provide in a very short period of time, and I'm going to have to do this twice. And that's exactly what we do not want to do. We want to give people the peace of mind, and it's probably the best kind of, to a degree ironic, the best kind of customer relationship is that we come install gutters for them and they don't even think about the gutters anymore. And we have to remind them of our existence if we have some additional services that we're offering. Because the piece that we worked on is there, it's doing its job, and they don't have to.
Yeah, Alex, I also want to understand, like, how does homeowners role come into play? Because in certain cases, most owners tend to see, like, okay, I can do this by my own self, or maybe I can hire somebody on a part-time basis and make them do the work. So how does that come into play? Who are your real competitors? Are it subcontractors, or are it the homeowners themselves?
So let's look at the spectrum of the services that we provide. And I want to touch on some other businesses that we're seeking to launch, in the process of launching under the Stern brand name. But Stern Gutters, as the name implies, is the gutter business. And our bread and butter is new gutters installation. And this tend to be fairly complex projects. They run from, a few $100s to potentially several thousand, sometimes in the tens of thousands of dollars. And they involve installing gutters on multiple elevations of the home, single residencies or even commercial buildings. And we're not finding a lot of do-it-yourselfers within sort of this silo of the services that we provide.
Understood.
You need specialized equipment to manufacture gutters. You need relationships with the vendors to, buy the materials. You need specialized equipment to literally climb up sometimes 30,
Makes
40
sense.
feet in in the air. This is a level of skill and the specialized equipment that is required that pretty much exclude a big chunk of the do-it-yourselfers from the competitive pool. That being said, call them subcontractors, call them other contractors. Of course, this is something that we have to compete with as a sort of in this competitive landscape. And again, from our perspective, is we do not want to compete on price. My very first thing in the introductory remarks to the homeowner is like, we're not going to be your cheapest bidder, the lowest bidder. We will come and give you the longest warranty that any of our competitors are going to offer. We're going to promise you that if something is not right with your gutters, we're going to have a truck over to you in the next 48 hours. You're going to be able to reach me personally if you need to, or someone from our office, literally within a few minutes of a phone call, email, text. But we're not going to be your lowest provider. But you are pretty much engaged in the relationship with us to make sure that you have this peace of mind, and we're going to take care of the job that you hire us to do.
Yes,
So that's the gutter installation business, right? But then there is a servicing element that involves gutter cleaning. This element, of course, covers literally just taking sometimes leaves, sometimes acorns or other contaminants out of the gutters and make sure that they properly flow the water down, down the gutter cavities and then down the downspouts. And of course, this is a very low tech type of solution. It's a service. And as long as the homeowners are able to climb up to the roof line and reach their gutters, they technically do this. So very often we find some folks who are just doing or have been doing the cleaning of their gutters for years. And the story that sort of very often that I hear is that, well, I've been doing this for the last 20 years. And right now I'm too old and I just do not want to climb up, 20, 30 feet in the air. Therefore, I want to hire you guys. And I say, great choice, because look, and our crew is doing this day in and day out. We probably have, much better, best practices in terms of the safety with the ladder, as well as how to remove the stuff out of your gutters. And for 160 or $170 that we're charging, it's potentially great payoff to make sure that your gutters are working properly and your roof is not exposed, your foundation basement is not getting water. And it's a risk management strategy, if you will, you know to make sure that the largest, arguably, asset that you own, your home, is properly protected against the rainwater. So on the cleaning side, again, we here have a lot of competition. We have a lot of homeowners. We have other contractors that are doing the cleaning. Where we are seeking to differentiate ourselves, again, ease of getting in touch with us. You can text us. Well, it's likely in the next 15 minutes, you're going to have a quote in your inbox and you can make a decision whether to hire us or not. We stayed away from the practice that we observed was here in the industry of scheduling a special visit to see the home and only give the estimate after we visit the home. We cut that out. We just pretty much either do the estimating based on Google Earth, Google Maps, or potentially we just go with flat pricing for specific areas where, for us, again, it's just a matter of starting the relationship and then continuing on with a connection to the homeowner, because the value is in the relationship, assuming that we're going to continue doing the service for them.
absolutely makes
So
sense.
that's the sort of approach to the pricing and the competitive landscape.
Yeah, makes sense. Understood. Thank you so much, Alex. And as you mentioned, like you mentioned the service delivery part, but how are owners finding you? Like, is there some sort of a booking engine that you have taken place where they can go to your website, schedule, and then, you get into conversation with them?
So this is an excellent question. When we were starting about a year and a half ago, we were looking to establish the conversation with anyone who would be willing to have a chat with us, and we paid for the leads just to get some of the work done and get in front of the homeowners. This day and age, where our approach is a little bit different, we are getting a lot more incoming phone calls as well as the inquiries through the website. And that sort of starts answering your question. We do have a website, sternguttersnj.com. We have, social media presence that generates certain amount of leads. We publish thought leadership pieces on our website through blogs, but also, certain either video or picture or some sort of case study discussions on the social media just to get the conversation started. For us, it's being very much present in the local markets where we're based, and we operate here in Essex County in New Jersey, but we also service Morris and Bergen and Passaic County, as well as the Union and Somerset and in the surrounding counties. But where we want to have a well-recognized presence here locally in Essex County and rely on the conversations within the community to spread the word, so to say, and referral would drive the traffic. We engage with local real estate professionals, again, just to offer the capabilities of providing free inspections to new homeowners. This has been a very fruitful avenue for us to start and continue the relationship with new homeowners. Naturally, in the area where we're based, we're getting a lot of, I call them expats, but some people who are leaving full time in New York City area or Jersey City, right next to the big city, into our more sort of call it a rural community because of the ease of commute to the city. And they're coming to discover what home ownership is all about. And very often they are new homeowners are up for a surprise. And that has been sort of my conversation with real estate agents. It's like, look, give us a call. I'm happy to come out and have a conversation with the new homeowners. I'm going to do the roof inspection. We're going to do inspection on the gutters. We're going to take a look at their foundation, make sure that the rainwater is not seeping into their basement. And we're going to educate them, tell them if there are certain areas where we would be concerned about. And if nothing else, just give us a call when you guys ready to clean gutters in the appropriate season. And that's what has been driving some of the relationships within the community here. And the last other piece that I wanted to mention is we have developed a skill set as a very deep, very knowledgeable and experienced in anything that touches gutters. So if there are exotic gutter jobs that are out there, we naturally tend to sort of pop up in the search if people are looking for solutions like copper gutters, half round gutters, box European gutters on residencies. And one of the more challenging gutter solutions around Yankee gutters, which are built into the roof system of the homes. And even though the new builds are rarely having them Yankee gutters in place, areas where we operate have a lot of old homes that are more than 100 years old. And those legacy properties, they sometimes have this Yankee gutters built in. And not a lot of contractors are willing to take on some of this larger and, more challenging projects. We do. And we'll get very granular and we take on some of this, larger Yankee gutter restorations or reconstruction, complete removal of them for the sake of putting regular modern K-style gutters in place. And that's how we sort of differentiate ourselves, is that we were able to take on some of this more challenging projects. And by the default, people tend to gravitate and find us simply because we can do that versus the vast majority of the other gutter contractors, they're just simply not willing or unable to take those projects on and execute.
That's wonderful. And for me, I'm hearing so many names for the first time. So it's a lot of information. Thank you so much. Alex, one final question. I want to add, what's your vision for the next 3-5 years? What are you looking at? How to grow, how to scale?
Yeah. It's an excellent question, and I alluded in my earlier remarks that we're starting sort of expand a little bit
The rain.
beyond the gutters. We still have a lot of aspirations to grow the gutter business. We have currently 2 trucks on the road, and would like to add, more vehicles and more teams to be able to service more homeowners. We have aspirations to go, in both directions of the vertical supply chain, if you will, and it's both figuratively as well as literally, because we already started doing work in the underground drains. And just for the benefit of your reader and listeners, these are the system of underground pipes that take the rainwater that being funneled down by the downspouts and taking them away from the foundation, either far enough that the water is no longer threatening the basement, so it may be as little as sort of 10 feet away. But we also done projects that run the water several hundred feet away and deposit it in the town's rainwater, stormwater management system. So we've done several successful projects in this area, and the aspiration is to grow in this product line, and help homeowners manage rainwater through the underground drains. And then, moving in the opposite side of the home vertical, if you will, we started doing roof replacements. We did several successful projects this year. We have recruited talent in the winter that came from the roofing industry. And while we train them to install gutters, they actually come very, very handy and valuable in sort of giving back this expertise in installing asphalt shingle roofs, when we had those projects and the homeowners wanted us to help them with roof replacements. So the aspiration is to, do more in the roofing space, do more in the underground drain system, and have both of these sort of product solutions, if you will, feed the core gutter business to generate more revenue. And again, the aspirations for the next few years is to stay hyper local, stick to New Jersey, Northern Central. But if our business model proves to be scalable, I am toying with ideas of taking this business model a little bit wider geography. And we can start again within the tri-state area here in New Jersey, New York, Maryland, and perhaps Pennsylvania, and then take it from there. So lots of thoughts, lots of aspirations to grow in this business opportunity. Again, I'm trying not to get distracted with the shiny castles in the sky, but execute on the opportunities that are in front of us. And at the end of the day, um, the immediate job is to keep the next homeowner that we're working with happy, satisfied, give them the peace of mind. And if we lose that from our line of sight, then the entire business is no longer working. So it's always a balancing act. Yes, have a lot of aspirations to grow, but at the same time, we've got to make sure that the next customer we work with, they're very happy with our work product, and and they want to refer us, because ultimately that's the best engine for the growth, but also, the most cost efficient way to grow is generate the referrals to the neighbors, friends, and families.
Word of mouth is the best place that you can actually go. And good luck with your aspirations, Alex. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your thoughts with us. It was a wonderful conversation.
Terrific. Navin, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure, privilege to be here, and would love to continue this conversation.
Thank you so much.